A little girl picked up a man's gold coin, but the moment the man waved his hand in front of her, the coin suddenly vanished. The girl froze in surprise. A second later, the very same coin appeared back in the man's pocket. She watched the trick with complete fascination. Then she tried to copy it herself, but suddenly, a familiar old melody began to play, and she became completely absorbed in the magic. The man, too, found himself repeating the same tricks he used to perform years ago, just like the magician he once dreamed of becoming. In that moment, he truly looked like a real magician, making the coin disappear and reappear whenever he wanted. Overjoyed, the man climbed onto the table, but this time, the coin didn't return to his hand. He walked over to the little girl and gently pulled the coin from behind her hair. Now she wanted the magical coin even more, but the man paused. That coin had been given to him by his mentor, and it carried all of his dreams. Yet when he looked at the little girl, he saw his own childhood, so he placed the coin in her hand, the very coin that held his dreams. She smiled with the same joy he had once felt himself. He simply watched her, as if his dreams now belonged to someone else. Then the little girl suddenly turned around and hugged him. Years passed. The old magician poster was eventually buried beneath stacks of paperwork. The man no longer had the same spark. He spent his days stuffing envelopes at the post office without a trace of magic. As his body grew older, even dropping letters into the mail slot became difficult for his aching wrist. Then, one day, a purple glow suddenly flashed. He realized it was the last letter of the day. The envelope was different. It was purple, and it was addressed to Gerald. He looked at it in surprise. When he carefully opened it, he found a ticket to a magic show inside. He went to the theater he had always dreamed of visiting. Bathed in purple light, the hall looked breathtaking. He straightened his clothes and, with the help of the staff, took a seat in the very front VIP row. Suddenly, a bright spotlight landed on him, startling him. The magician standing on stage called his name and invited him up. Then the magician pulled the ticket from the old man's pocket and twirled it between their fingers. Slowly, the ticket transformed back into the same gold coin he had once given to the little girl. The magician gently placed the coin in his palm. The lights grew even brighter, and everyone could finally see the magician's face. It was the little girl. She draped a magician's cape around the old man's shoulders and invited him to perform on stage. For years, he had stood inside the post office, imagining the sound of applause. But this time, he was truly standing on a stage, hearing it for real. Back at the post office, a framed photograph of Gerald and the young magician now hung on the wall. The old poster had finally been replaced by hers.